So I'm going to allow this if you're comfortable with it and you're able to do it physically. You don't have to do it. You can do the way that we've been doing. But this way makes sense as well, depending on what your circumstances are. So I'll show that first, and then I'll demo the drill that we're actually going to do. All right, so we start on the ground. You get your gun out, right, and get here. And then we come up to that kneeling position, right? Our seated position, we can be here. And if you feel like you can do so without putting a hand or taking a hand away from the gun, you can rock up and shoot. If you feel like you can do so, that's fine. Make sense?
We don't want you trying if you're gonna fall over with the gun out.
Yeah, I don't want a lot of this where you're like,
oh my God.
And then this way. So keep the gun pointed down range, right? The way to do it, if you don't feel comfortable with it, I wouldn't even mess with it. You could try on your own time without a gun in your hand. But I just lean over my knee. It's not a whole lot of strength I'm using. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit involved, right? But I'm leaning over my knee. My gun's pointed in a safe direction. Now I achieved that same kneeling position that we had before, yeah? Yep. Makes sense. So that's your option. You can keep both hands on the gun that way, and I think it makes sense. If I can keep both hands on the gun and I can get up that way, I will. The other option that we showed to you and that you've been doing, which is putting your hand down, it's a little more utilitarian in that I could use that with a man on top of me trying to hold me down. I could use that in a shooting situation. I can use that in all kinds of situations. It's hard to keep somebody down when they have that posted position and they build such a good base on the ground. Now, if somebody's like Dan or Brian or Paul is trying to hold me down and I'm here, no way in hell I'm going to get up if they're trying to drive into me. All right? I mean, maybe a super strong guy like Paul, but other than that,
I don't think so.
With donut socks.
There's also there's also an element to being able to get off the ground without your hands that goes way beyond defense and shooting. And Brian, you might know this, but people that can get off the ground without using their hands, like, they're healthier, they live longer. So, you know, all of us pretty much are, you know, young and able-bodied, but as you start to get older, you know, let that be something that is a goal for you. Like, you should always be able to get off the ground without using your hands. If you can't do it right now, then you might need to work on it.
Yeah. VO2 max, grip strength, and the ability to get up off the ground are the three most important things towards your dying. When these things start to go, you go. VO2 max when it drops below 22, which is pretty low, but the ability to get up off the ground. So practicing shit with getting up off the ground without your hands is actually a critical skill.
Excellent point. And I know that's not a hit on anybody that can't do that. Either work on your mobility, or maybe you have injuries or something going on right now where you can't do that. Don't worry about it. Get to it when you can. Mobility is key, though. Mobility is key. You're born a certain way with pretty good mobility and flexibility, and I think we're intended to stay that way. We just throughout life, don't we? Stay where you're at.
Eyes and ears.
Eyes and ears. I'm gonna do it both ways. I'm gonna do the way we originally did, and I'll shoot at each level. And then I'll do it the new way, the modification, with a little more mobility involved.
Hey, Zee, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
You're using your left foot to bend up over. Can you use your right? I mean, does it matter? I'm asking.
No, it don't matter.
Because when you stand up, you're in the better shooting position if you're a righty.
Just depends. Like, I'm usually
left on the right hand side.
So kind of it's dictated by, he asked, you know, which knee do I come up on? Should I come up on the left side or could I come up on the right side? Just whichever one I want. I tend to stay towards the left side because if you got a big ass holster or something going on over here, you just tend to stay off of that side, right? I mean, I can make it happen, but if I don't have to, I won't. So it's just up to you, really. Whatever you're more comfortable with and what you can get away with safely and effectively. So I'll do them all step by step, kind of walk and talk through them. Everybody got eyes and ears?
Eyes and ears.
So I'm here, drawing my gun. I'm safe here. If I have to, I can sit up. Me, I've got something under my back. I talked about that with the other guys, the bigger guys. We'll talk about that modification too before I go through the whole drill. So bigger guys, or if maybe you got equipment on your back and you can't lay back and get the sight picture because you're like this. I can't get a sight picture here unless it was higher. So I can move it out of my way or scoot back and come up on it, or you go to a fetal position. So guys with like bigger bellies, can't really do that crunch or their neck is bad, you could go here, but what's key that I got to watch out for?
Foot.
Yeah, I don't want to leave this out here. Even though it's out of the way, I don't even want to push the envelope. Get it out of the way and engage, and then everything else is the same. Boom. So on and so forth. So if you have to do that, be very careful, do it slow. Instructors, watch their foot if they have to do that fetal modification versus just shooting between their legs. Make sense to everybody?
Yes.
All right, so again, We're here. I come. I'm gonna get it. Right. I can sit up here. Still again. Find the red dot. Come up to my knee. Back to 2 hands. All right. Now I'm standing. Right. So that's the way we normally did it. I had to shoot with 1 hand there, right? So that's key. That don't mean just yank the gun with 1 hand. Trigger control is still key. One thing I like to do is flag my thumb just to pinch that gun in a little bit. So we'll refine that as we go. The next one. Tack mag if you want. So I'm here, it says draw. Here. Alright. Then I'll sit up. Then I come rock up to my knees. Then I'm standing. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
What's my finger doing as I move?
Coming off the trigger.
Came off the trigger, right? Probably coach you through that, Vicky, as you see fit, taking your finger off the trigger. Eventually we want it to be automatic though. When I'm moving, I'm not on target, ready to shoot. It should happen that way. Finger off the trigger. Finger off the trigger. I'm not shooting, not intending to shoot. Fingers off the trigger. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Questions on it?
No.
No.
All right, so we see the modification. We clear on it?
Yes. Yes.
All right, instructors, make sure they're doing it safely. If you're rocking and having a problem with it, I say just shut it down. Worry about it when you don't have a gun. Even some of you guys that back behind the line without a gun, if you wanted to practice that rocking while you're waiting, that's not dangerous. You can do that.
Not dry humping. Do you got a tack mag? If you were using good processes, you would have put your gun away full, right? Put it back in the condition you want to find it in. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me.
Makes total sense.
My uncle used to always say, if you climbed up on a roof or something, then you'd be like, hey, throw me some nails. He'd always say, a good carpenter always has nails. You know, it's what you're doing. You kind of need nails. You guys are training to fight with a gun. You need some bullets.
But if you're paid by the hour.
Right. Yeah, let me climb back down, check on your ass. Same thing that we were just working on, except now we've got all the mods that Zee just told us about. So you're going to present your pistol. Mindfully present your pistol. Let's go 2 rounds on the whistle. Finger straight, come up onto your number, what do we call this position? 2? Seated. Come to the seated position. When it's safe for you to do so, give me 2. You're now going to come up to that kneeling position. When you get there and it's safe for you to do so, we're going by the numbers, guys. We'll stay in together. Hey, nobody told you guys even to fire from the knees. I was starting to talk. I said, when it's safe, and all of a sudden you guys started popping off. You ever see, like, when cops just like murder like a whole group of people, somebody shoots and then they all start shooting because they're like, I don't know what's happening, but my friends are shooting. That's what you guys are doing. You're like, I don't want to be the one that didn't hear the
Sympathetic fire.
Yeah, just relax. Relax. I want to
They're definitely having sex in there.
They're definitely having sex in there. Fight to your feet. Get up and give me 2. Tack mag, finger straight, dominate that muzzle. The muzzle does not get pointed at your face or to the person to your left or right. Retrieve a magazine. Put the new mag in the gun. If you don't know how, somebody will come by you. When you're holstering, let's have this way, not here. Okay. You need those fingers probably to drill on people's teeth and overcharge them for the work that you do that usually fails in 2 to 3 years and they have to come back to the office anyway. And you
Planned obsolescence.
Yep. Yeah. When it's safe to do it, present that pistol to the berm. Or to the target. Guys, so now we're starting to develop this mindset a little bit. As you're going through this, you should be breathing. You should be focused and intent on killing this target, on winning. Not killing, but defeating it. Give me 2. Come to the seated position. Come to that kneeling position. Finger straight as you're moving through these positions. We've got stop gaps. We've got these. Give me 2. Give me 2.
rounds are you guys firing? Fight to your feet. Fight to your feet. Hit it. Tack bag, recover to the holster. So we're going to do it again, except now we're just going to, I'll give you a whistle. You guys need to pay attention. If you're super fast, I don't want you to be the one guy standing while the guy next to you is still on his back. Understand? So you need to kind of pay attention. This is on purpose. You have to pay attention to what's happening to make a safe environment. This is not a speed drill anyway. I mean, if you need to shoot quickly, I'd probably just stay on the ground and shoot, right?
Let's see if we can get all the way through without Mick having to tell you to stop. Just kidding. I do love you guys.
I hope when I say jokes like that, it's funnier than that and not sounding so condescending and insulting.
I wasn't joking.
On your butt!
Condescending.
On your butt! Well, hopefully he doesn't do what he did last time and start making people call him Lord General Sharp.
I paid a lot of money to be a lord.
Lord General Sharp. All right, so I'm going to say, present your pistol. When you do, I'll give you a whistle. When you get your hits, go to the next position. I'll give another whistle. Okay? Go to the next position. I'll give another whistle. But it's actually, you know what? I'm going to have you just go all the way through it. One initiation, and you're just going to go all the way through it. But, you, like I said, need to pay attention. You guys aren't going to be able to hear through all the gunfire.
So 2 shots are down, seated, kneeling, standing.
The whistle's going to start.
One whistle all the way through.
Whistle's going to start. You're going to draw 2, and then you're going to move through each of the positions. So it's 8 rounds total, right, Z? So everything you just did, but you're going to do it on your own. But you're going to make sure that you're doing it safely with the people to the left and right of you. If you hear this, all stop. Finger straight. Something bad has happened. Or we just want to yell at you some more. All right, on the whistle. Get those fingers off the trigger when you're moving. Off the trigger when you're moving. When you are finished, recover to the holster. Look left and right. Get back on your ass. Let's do it again. Ready? I have 3 times, this is not a joke, 3 times had students call us. Sharon and I and my sister were in our living room during an active shooter event, and somebody called me, one of our students, to ask what to do during the active shooter event. No joke. Said, brother, you got to grab your family and boogie, find an exit, go. Like, we're not going to talk through. And that's like, you know, calling one of the medics here and saying, how do I do a trach tube? Well, first thing you're going to do is find you a good clean Bic pen. Why I'm telling you this now is these range commands are not just commands so that we can get through a drill. The commands are to get you to think about what I need to think about. Get down when it's safe for you to do so. It might be safe for Brian or one of the guys or gals over on this end to get down when somebody's still shooting on that end. Dig? Present your pistol. Give me 2. Come to that seated position. Give me 2. Come to your knees. Give me 2. Fight to your feet. Fight to your feet. Give me 2. Tack mag and recover to the holster. Nobody will be there. You know, there's this common thread now, nobody's coming to save you. That's a lie. You know, Dan's coming to save you. Gary's son is coming to save you. We all know somebody that is sworn an oath to come save you. The problem is they might not be there till you're gone. Alex and I looked up yesterday. Average response time in the United States is about 7 minutes from the time that the 911 call is initiated to them arriving. Now that person or people need to figure out what's going on, right? Just because you're there, now you got to actually go find the body or the people. Now you got to ascertain what's going on with them before you can apply some type of life-saving measure. In a rural area, the response time spiked up to over a half an hour, and in many cases, it was an hour and a half or longer. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, keep in mind that's 7 minutes average. So you remember what I said, if your closest station to you is already out on a call, which is always a possibility, especially depending on where you live, the next one's coming. So go ahead and double your average possibly, okay? So that's why the shit we're teaching you is important, not only shooting and defending yourself against a threat, but also fixing yourself after that threat's mitigated.
That's not even accounting for mutual aid.
That's right.
If all stations are empty, mutual aid, next agency over comes. That could be an hour. That's right now.
The point in us going back through this is this mindset that I got to do this. That article or that report I was reading was codified through a bunch of different bureaus. They've collected all this information. The last paragraph said, based on all of our research, the highest probability for survival for EMS calls was bystanders that rendered aid. It said that was the thing that changed the life and death. Somebody putting their hand on a wound, somebody dragging the person. Present that pistol. On your back. From the seated, from the kneeling, from the standing, tac mag recover. Yeah? Yes. You're going to be mindful of who's to your left and right. So check that out. How long did that take? How long did that take? A couple of you are still shooting, which is cool. So even the longest last shot, what was that? Maybe 15 seconds? 20 seconds? Let's say it was a minute. In a minute, one of you went from on your back to firing from 4 different shooting positions into a defined target zone, the distance of a room. You're waiting 5, 10, 20 minutes for somebody to come help you. So if you can do this, a bad guy can do this, right? Action. Get on your back one more time. Then we'll break for a quick water. Present your pistol when it's safe to do so. On the whistle, same thing. Last year, I left Paul's gym in Bartlett on a busy road. Left his gym. I was tired, sweaty, got beat up by all of his students at jiu-jitsu, and I'm driving home and saw a pretty bad car crash where a car was engulfed in flames and all of the fluids were on the road. And I was like, oh shit, I better stop. And I whipped a shitty in the middle of is that a 6-laner 59? You've heard this story last time we were here, but for those of you that didn't hear it, just about the amount of time, the car was full of smoke. The old lady had a complete fracture of one arm and one leg where bones were all sticking out. And there's people there like trying to get the car open, but it was locked. So they're like, and it's full of smoke and the engine's on fire and all the transmission fluid and shit's all over the road and we're slipping and sliding in it. And they're like, it's locked. And I opened up the back of my truck where I have tools for such things and I was like, step aside. And cool as a cucumber because that shit doesn't bother me. The guy's like, you're going to break the window? Because in his head, we don't do that. We weren't the police and we weren't the fire department. This lady's car is full of smoke. And just relax, you know, broke the window. We got her out onto the street. But let's wait. It took about 5 more minutes for the EMS to get there. Okay, we'll just let her die and we'll sit here and be like, it's unfortunate that a 1/4-inch barrier that we have means to defeat, that is not a dig on those men. They did exactly what they were told. We don't break into people's cars. We don't break into people's houses. We wait for somebody else. I watched a dude have a stroke in O'Hare Airport, Sharon and I did, face first, and not one person, 3 times this many people watched this guy go down. Not the staff from American Airlines, people walking about. Nobody did a thing. I did. I crawled up next to him. I'm like, shit. I couldn't do a lot to him, but we did something and got the, you know, like, call the people, you know, and everybody's like, that's not that there's something wrong with them, it's that there's something right with you. You're here, so you're programming in I do the right thing. I do. Go chop your mags. Cool. We're at Langdon Tactical Technologies today. Oh, hey guys.
Hi, Mickey.
What's up, Mickey?
What are you guys up to today in here?
We are, right now, we're trying to figure out what parts, spare parts we need to order.
On top of MP3 guns.
And Jonah is putting together MP3 guns.
What's an MP3 gun? That means that's one of your guns with all the internals coated.
All the metal parts except for the frame, slide, and barrel are coated in nickel Teflon MP3.
Is it worth it?
It is totally worth it. It's so nice. It is so nice.
And it only gets better with time.
Yeah.
Does it? It wears into a better...
Oh, yeah.
You're okay. I could have got a shot of you doing packaging.